So today I'm going to talk about running. Now, running is really important for my mental health and my physical health. When I think of running, I think about the different components that are important to have a successful run, as well as what playlist and the distance, of course, is also really important. For someone who's just starting out in running, I strongly suggest looking into appropriate footwear. So when I talk about footwear, I specifically am alluding to all the different surfaces that your foot basically touches when you're running. So, for example, for when I run, I usually pick surfaces that are around my neighborhood, and a lot of it is on pavement or sidewalk. So you definitely need a shoe that can support that kind of terrain. So it's important to have arch support. It's important to have some sort of gel, because your foot hits every time on the pavement. You need something to assist you in that impact, as well as ample padding in the back of the shoe. For me, I am prone, and I mean prone, to getting blisters all around the back of my foot. So I definitely need extra padding for the back of the foot that covers every single part at the edge of the shoe at the back. And that's really important for your runs to be comfortable as well as supported, and that way it's much easier to gain distance when you're running. So with that being said, that's the most important, is the footwear. The second most important thing is kind of figuring out what your capacity is. So when I say capacity, I mean kind of like, what are you capable of running? Is it 1 kilometer? Is it 2? Is it 5? Is it 10? Whatever you're capable of, you should work within your means. So if you're first starting out running, I would strongly suggest something small, like a couple kilometers, maybe even 100 meters. Who knows how fit you are? So when you have your proper footwear and you figure out the distance, you can kind of figure out a route. That's another thing that's very important, is to figure out where you're running to. Are you running around the block? Are you running through the forest? Are you running on a trail? It literally could be any of those things. So you have to consider all those different elements when you're planning your run. For me, I run in my suburban area, so my foot is constantly hitting the pavement, and I have to consider that. So when I map out my run, I pick something that has a bit of a challenge. So you could pick a route if that's like totally flat, or you can have a bit of elevation, and as well as a lot of decline as well. So incline and decline. If you're familiar with workout machines at the gym, you're probably familiar with inclines and declines. For me, I really want to work the whole part of I want to work all of my lower body. So I'll pick something with an incline, an elevation, and a decline. So on my route, what that I've kind of composed together, I have a very steep decline, and at the end of my run, to really challenge myself, I have a gradual incline. And I think that's important to consider when you are planning your run. So besides your route and the footwear, another thing that you have to consider is the athleisure or athletic clothing. Don't be drawn into moisture wicking and everything like that. You just need something that won't give you any kind of chafing, and it's comfortable to run in. And it's also important to consider the different weather patterns as well. So I don't run in the rain or in the winter, let's be clear here. But for me, I run in the spring and summer when it's a lot drier. So the kind of clothes that I would wear would be anywhere from shorts, capris, leggings, and obviously a sports bra because I need to support the girls, and then a loose fitting top. I've tried running in short sleeve tops, but it definitely gives me problems with chafing and everything like that, and it's super uncomfortable for me, so I much prefer like a sleeveless overlay over my sports bra, and I think that will be very important for you when you decide to kind of start going for those longer runs. So if you're picking leggings, don't fall for Lulu Lemon. Very expensive, a little bit overrated in my opinion. You could easily get proper leggings anywhere. You just want to make sure that in the leggings you have an elastic band that you can adjust, because over time with leggings especially, the elasticine or the band around your waist loosens over time, and it needs to be replaced, and you kind of have to toss it sooner because it keeps sliding down your bottom when you're trying to run. So I always suggest to find a pair of leggings that has that tie on the inside or an elastic band that you can pull and adjust to your waistline so it doesn't fall down when you run. That's the same for leggings and capris, and I would even say as far as shorts. Now, if you're a girl like me and you have some juicy thighs, then you're prone to what they call a chub rub, which is when your thighs kind of rub together. Now, I'm a girl that wants to have all different elements of clothing, so I definitely suggest, if you're wearing shorts, because I wear shorts, like nothing's gonna stop me. I love shorts. Shorts are awesome. It's hot outside. I don't wanna wear leggings. In the shorts, you can find something that has like an underwear component and a very loose or longer fit in the short, so in the part that you're chafing, it would cover that area. Or my secret is to rub a little bit of deodorant from where the frictions comes from. So if you rub some deodorant before you run and you're wearing shorts, you're gonna prevent any chafing, and it's super helpful for those girls like myself with the juicy thighs to have that extra support when you run. So we covered all of the different bottoms. So we have shorts, capris, leggings, all of those things are fine. Just remember to have that elastic band and support for your thighs, everything. Next thing, so sports bras. So it's very like controversial subject, because some women, when they buy sports bras, they buy the bras that have the cups already inserted in. Whereas for me, I prefer the ones that you can remove the cups so it's easier to wash it and when you do laundry and stuff like that. So I always find, I don't do the adjustable or anything like that. I like the bras that have the support in here and then do kind of like a cross at the back. And those are super helpful to support the girls, and as well as being very comfortable and more stable for your runs. Thirdly, you also need a top on all of this madness. Like, kudos to the women that can run in just a sports bra. You're my idol. So I usually pick looser fitting tops that are sleeveless, that kind of complement the bra that you're wearing, and it's loose, and you don't have to worry about a lot of like compression, and because you don't want so many components or different elements of clothing just totally just sticking to your body when you run, when you're sweaty and wet and it's warm out. You just want loose fitting, and you want to make sure everything kind of works out in that way. And then to support the shoes you're wearing, I would definitely invest in athletic socks. I mentioned earlier that Lulu Lemon's a bit overrated. I bought a pair of Lulu Lemon socks, athletic socks, and I love them. They're adorable. It says My Race on the inside, but I found that they didn't last after one wash. They were pilling already after one wash, and I was not impressed with that at all. For Lulu Lemon to be a high-end brand, supporting every kind of run, trail, outdoor, whatever you have, it definitely like surprised me when the sock itself was pilling after one wash. Maybe I didn't wash it properly, whatever it should be, but I don't want to spend so much time trying to take care of socks that are just meant to be worn once after you sweat and a run, and then you toss it. Like, why is it pilling already? Find socks that have the length that is higher than the shoe to kind of help with no blisters or anything like that. So anything above the ankle, I wouldn't go as far as like mid calf. I would just, at least it's above the ankle and covering the outside of the shoe. And athletic socks are great. They're meant to kind of moisture wick and kind of support your runs in that way. So we've covered the outfit, we've covered the route, we've covered seeing what you're capable of. One of the other things that's important when you go for longer runs, especially like mine, if it's around anywhere between 5 to 10 kilometers, you need something to kind of keep you company when you run. It's really lonely when you run, unless you have like a running buddy. But for me, I see it as like a solitary activity. So I usually have a really interesting playlist in mind. When you compose your playlist for your runs, definitely consider all the different things that you come across in your run. And you figure this out as the more you run and run. So for my run, I have a lot of like electronica, I have Beyonce, I have things to kind of push me as I'm running. So at the beginning of my playlist, I definitely have like a Beyonce song, Formation, because it makes you like, yeah, I'm getting into the mood, I'm gonna run, I'm getting in formation. Like I take the lyrics a little bit too literal. So my playlist starts with that song, and it's very kind of steady with those beats. And then around the 5 kilometer mark, I have something more push me a little bit further, because you kind of like are waning down. You're feeling kind of like, wow, I already run so much. I already ran 5 kilometers. I don't know if I can keep going. So definitely select songs at that point of your playlist that can push you. A really great part in that playlist I would suggest is The Greatest by Sia. That always pushes me, that always gives me that confidence when I feel at my low, or like I'm just about to hit that hill at the end of my run in my elevation, and that kind of like, you know, I'm the greatest. And it's just like, yeah, I can do it, let's go. And then another song accompanying that, I think somewhere on my playlist, is Alive by Jennifer Lopez, and it's a soundtrack from the Enough movie. And I picked the remix because she says in one of the lyrics, like, I'm alive. So it's like kind of like you made it. So you're the greatest with Sia and you're still alive as you keep running. And then somewhere near the end of my run, I have like, oh, he just passed away. Who is he? Avicii. I have an Avicii soundtrack. I can't think of the name right now, but it was one of his originals. And then I have Lindsay Sterling, a couple of her songs, either Transcendence or Elements or something like that. And it kind of keeps you going as you wind down at the end of your run. And then I usually walk for about 15 minutes. So I don't want something with an upbeat thing to keep me going. So around at the end of my playlist, I have something like Latin based to kind of calms me down, or something just kind of soothes you, but you want to also kind of keep going just in case you feel like you want to add more kilometers. So I always have like Clarity, or I'll have like something along those lines. Like my playlist is really interesting. I should probably post it and show you what kind of songs I have. So we covered for the run the outfit, the length, and the playlist. I've had chats with friends before who want to start to get into running and that they find it's boring for like an hour just having music. So if you don't want a playlist or any songs to kind of accompany you on your solitary run, then I would definitely suggest either a podcast, there's tons of them out there, that would kind of keep you going, or Audible, books that you can listen to. And that might be not for me, I prefer music to keep me going, but if someone else that prefers something more mentally stimulating as you run. Because for me, what I love about running, it kind of gives me a sense of mental clarity. And anytime I was faced with a challenge or some weird thing in my life where I had to make a full-hearted decision, or I just needed to kind of like vent and just think, running has always been there for me as a great tool to kind of clear my head. So I definitely enjoy running for that mental clarity, and I enjoy that I'm able to resolve things basically by the end of my run. It's something very magical about running and why it's so important to me, and it could be to you in terms of physical activity. There's a lot of people out there that don't like running. They think it's boring, or they can't run far and they can't gain speed, and they kind of give up on it. And sometimes maybe running isn't for you. But I believe that running can open new doors of other exercises and other acts of physical activity that could push you to be your utmost best. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's important about running, is to challenge yourself, see what you can do, settle some issues with your mental clarity, and just have fun. Because at the end of the day, running is excellent for your cardiovascular health. It can help you get a sense of routine, and it's excellent for those who want to get up in the morning or evening or even their lunchtime and just go for a quick jaunt or run, and just to kind of relieve stress. It's an excellent stress reliever. So from my heart to your running, I'm here to say, try it. Let me know if you like it. Let me know what kind of joy it brings you. And at the end of the day, just have fun.
Stretches. And we're stretching.
Why are you narrating? You ruin it.
I'm not ruining anything. They're gonna pick me up, but it doesn't matter because you're just gonna do a voiceover anyway.